Hello friends! So this is going to be a video for my 2020 Romanceopoly plans. I am super excited to be attempting this challenge again, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with all that I have planned so far. So this is my reading journal, and I have two full-page spreads. This is the first one, and I just did one of their trackers, or I just did two of their trackers. And I have the same thing on the next page because I'm going to attempt to do both boards. The page with the orange washi tape will be the sun board, and the black with neon stars will be my moon board page. My goal is not necessarily to complete both boards, although that would be amazing. I think my goal is just to see how much of each board I can get done. I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the books that I have picked out for the challenges on each board. I'm going to start with the moon board, and obviously there are library spaces, and that will just be any books that I read that I really love. So the first spot on the board is Sleuth Street. And this is, for the moon board, it is Read a Mystery where the main character is an amateur sleuth. And for that, I'm hoping to use One of Us Is Next by Karen McManus. It comes out in January, and I know it's a mystery. I think the main character will kind of be sleuthing to figure out what's going on, but I don't know that for sure. So this is I hope to use this book as this one. The next space I have something for is called The Bar. Read a book where you and the author share at least one initial. And for that, I'm going to be reading The Summer Games Out of Bounds by R.S. Gray. She and I actually have the same first name, and I've been wanting to read this one, but I'm a little iffy on the subject matter, so I'm really interested to see how she does this, how she handles it. Next is the winter space, which is read a book where it has a white, blue, or silver cover, has snow on the cover, has a winter word in the title, or is a winter holiday read. For that, I'm going to go with Great and Precious Things by Rebecca Yarros. This comes out in February. This is also the January 1st through March 20th seasonal challenge. So this one comes out in February, and I love Rebecca Yarros, and will be reading it as soon as it is in my hands. The next space I have one for is BFF's House, Read a Best Friend's Sibling Romance. For that, I'm going to go with The Player and the Pixie by L.H. Cosway and Penny Reed. This is book 2 in the rugby series. It is the little sister of the rugby player in the first book and one of his teammates, and I'm super excited to continue on with this series. Next would be Amore Avenue, Read a Second Chance Contemporary Romance. And for that, I have The Ones Who Got Away by Ronnie Lauren. The first book in a series about a group of women who survived a school shooting when they were in high school, and I believe in this one she's coming back to town for the first time, and she ends up reconnecting with her high school boyfriend who is now a cop. Next would be Post Office, Read an Epistolary Romance. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right. Anyway, for that I have Dear Erin by Mariana Zapata. This is my sister's copy, but I've had it for a really long time, and she kind of wants it back, so I need to get to this really soon. I believe this is a military romance where they start kind of a pen pal friendship, and then it's Mariana Zapata, so it's really slow burn. And I feel like it's gonna be a lot more devastating than her other more comedic releases, but I'm really excited to get to this. Next is The Cobbles, Read a Historical Romance Not Set in London. I actually have 2 Kerrigan Byrne books. I need to actually get another one in the series as well. I believe these all take place in Scotland. I don't believe any of it is set in London, so I'm going to count whichever one of these. I don't know which one's the first one. Or, well, The Highwayman is the first one. I don't know which one is next in the series. For Fang Alley, Read a Paranormal Romance with a Vampire or Shifter Hero or Heroine. I have the next book. I have the next book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which I am loving. So this is book 3, and it's the next one that I have to go. For Drive-In Movie, Read a romance that develops from a one-night stand or a brief romantic tryst. I have The Right Swipe by Alicia Rye. I bought this when it came out this year in 2019, and I did not ever pick it up. So super excited to actually get to this. For Soldier Street, read a romantic suspense where the hero or heroine is in an action pose on the cover. This is not the next one in the series that I have to read, but it's the next one that I own already, and I will be reading part of the Killer Instinct series by L. Kennedy. They're all pretty much action poses on the cover, so. For Farmer's Market, read a romance where the hero or heroine is a chef or works in the food industry, owns a bakery, restaurant, food, or drink establishment. And for that, I have Timid by Devney Perry. This is the second one in the Lark Cove series. The hero is the bartender at the bar that the heroine in book 1 owns, so he's a bartender. For Lover's Lane, read an LGBT romance, which isn't a contemporary. At some point, I'm going to get to Lover at Last in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and it's in the recommendations on the Romanceopoly website that it counts for this challenge, so gonna get there at some point. For Action Avenue, read an urban fantasy with a kick-ass heroine on the cover. I will be continuing reading the Chicagoland Vampire series, book 2. Yeah. For City Lane, read an urban fantasy published in the last 5 years. My sister told me I should borrow Chelsea Mueller's Borrowed Soul series. I believe she's an Apolycon author, so I have to get to that before March. For The Gem, read a book that has a banging body or gorgeously dressed person on the cover. And like, y'all are speaking to my soul with this. I'm gonna go with whichever one of these books is the first one. Again, I don't know. I haven't done that much research on it yet. This is I Bet You and I Dare You by Ilsa Mad Mills. I believe these are both college sports romances. For Emergency Services, read a romance where the hero or heroine is a fireman or police officer. I have Disorderly Conduct and Indecent Exposure by Tessa Bailey. I need to get to both of these before Polycon. Again, I don't know which one is the first in the series, but it's going to count. I believe these are both police officer romances. Yes. New York City police officer romances. For Campus Corner, read a new adult where the hero or heroine is a jock. I'm going to be reading the other of I Bet You or I Dare You by Ilsa Mad Mills. For The Office, read a romance where the couple meets at their place of work. I think I'm going to get to Tinsel, the 4th book in the Lark Cove series by Devney Perry. I believe this is the younger sister of the guy in book 1, and she gets put to work in the bar and also meets a bartender, I think. So those are all of the books that I have planned so far for the Moon board. Now I'm going to do the books I have planned for the Sun board. For the Bar, read a book set where you live or have lived. I'm going to be reading Unforgiven by Jay Crownover. This comes out in February, and it is set in Texas, which is where I'm from. For the Winter Space, it is, again, read a book that has a white, blue, or silver cover, and I'm going to go with Trouble by Adriana Locke. This comes out in February. For Amore Avenue, read an age gap romance. I'm going to go with A Duke by Default by Alyssa Cole. This is book 2, I believe, in her Reluctant Royals series. I don't know how much of an age gap this has. It was just on the Romanceopoly website recommendations. For Courtship Row, read a historical romance where the hero or heroine is a wallflower. Again, I got this from the recommendations page on the Romanceopoly website. I'm going to read Raisin and the Beast by Sarah McLean. This is book 2 in her Bare Knuckle Bastard series. For Burger Joint, read a book on our book boyfriends list. I'm going to try to get to Marriage for One by Ella Mays because I've been hearing Jessica from Peace Love Books talk amazing things about it, so I really want to pick it up. For The Cobbles, read a historical romance where the title is longer than 5 words. I have Kerrigan Burns' How to Love a Duke in 10 Days. For Outer Space, read a sci-fi set on an alien planet or spaceship. My sister, again, told me I needed to put Night Chaser by Amanda Boucher in that spot, which is something that she already owns, so I can just borrow from her. For the Spring Space, read a book where it has a green or yellow cover, has flowers on the cover, has the word spring in the title, or where the hero or heroine is a gardener or farmer. For that, I'm going to go with Undercover Bromance, which comes out in March. It's got a yellow cover. This is the March 21st through June 20th challenge. I think this actually comes out a little bit before the challenge starts, but I can just hold off and read it when it gets to the challenge time. For Fated Folly, read a paranormal romance where the hero or heroine is a part of a pack, coven, band, of paranormal group. Again, whichever Black Dagger Brotherhood series book I'm on, like, I'll probably just count that. For Farmer's Market, read a romance where the hero or heroine is a farmer, rancher, cowboy. I have more of Lorelei James' Blacktop Cowboy series. I have Racked and Stacked, which I think is actually the next one I need to read. And I have Spun Out, which I believe is the newest one. For Action Avenue, read an urban fantasy with a dark cover. I'm going to be reading Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. I saw this on the recommendations list, but my sister also told me that Karen Marie Moning is somebody I need to read before Book Bonanza next year. For Emergency Services, read a romance where the hero or heroine is in the medical profession. I have two that I can choose from. One of them is Dear Bridget, I Want You by Penelope Ward and Vi Keeland. This was one of the free books that I got at Book Bonanza. And I believe he's a doctor? I believe the hero is a doctor and he is kind of in lust with his landlord. And I also have Moonlight Sins by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I believe the heroine in this one is a nurse who comes to take care of the hero's mother or grandmother, somebody. Anyway, for The Office, read a non-contemporary romance where the couple meet at their place of work. I have The Governess Game by Tessa Dare. The heroine goes to work for the hero, taking care of, I don't even think it's his children. I think it's children that he's somehow become the guardian of. For Ladies Lane, read a women's fiction novel. I have Lost and Found Sisters by Jill Shalvis. I've read two other books in this series, but this is the first one. And I really think these books focus more on a family relationship rather than a romantic relationship. So that's why I'm counting it as a women's fiction. So those are my plans for Romanceopoly 2020 so far. If you have any suggestions for other spaces that I could fill in, please leave them for me down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!